What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHawks42 on the internet, and today you are in for a special treat. We have a really fun Explorer deck that we are going to get into, but first, I want to give a very special shout out to my patrons. That's right, I am on Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, you can actually have your name included in the credits for deck tech like this. Our current patrons are Dream Dragon Ari, Else, and Silent Labyrinth. Thank you so much for doing what you do and for helping me keep the lights on. It makes a huge difference. Like I said, if you would like to participate as well, patreon.com/hamhawks42. There's a link in the description. But with that, let's get into the deck for the day. All right, thank you for sticking with me through the self-promo, getting the shilling out of the way. It's part of the gig, you know. But in any event, today, this deck, it's brought to you by Explorer Anthology 1. If it wasn't for Explorer Anthology 1, this deck would not exist. And the key pieces for that are Siege Rhino, because it's freaking Siege Rhino. This card was great. The moment they announced that they were going to be introducing this card, I knew I would build at least 3 decks around it. So far we got 1, and I'm pretty happy with it. But while this was designed as a Siege Rhino deck, my goal was to take advantage of Siege Rhino first and foremost, and that's what I set out to do. However, I found in tuning it, in tweaking it, in playing with it, Rally the Ancestors, it quietly became the MVP. I had this as like a cheeky one-of in an earlier build, and then every game came down to, okay, if I draw Rally the Ancestors, I win. And it became pretty clear that, okay, I need more of this card in here. Like, it's just excellent, like truly excellent. If you're not familiar, Rally the Ancestors is an instant that says that's mana cost X, white, white. Return each creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile those creatures at the beginning of the next upkeep. Of your next upkeep, rather. Exile Rally the Ancestors. So you can't repeat it out of your graveyard. It goes poof. It theoretically exiles all the creatures that you're bringing back, but we have some ways around that, and I'm gonna go into that in a little bit. So for 6 mana, this is capable of reanimating every single creature in the deck that has hit our graveyard. And we are designed to abuse that. Absolutely abuse it. So as you can imagine, we have ETBs for days. We have ETBs like Stitcher Supplier. Enters the battlefield, it mills stuff. When it dies, it mills stuff. When it re-enters the battlefield, it mills stuff. You get the idea. We're milling stuff because we like stuff in our graveyard. It's very, very nice. We also have Archfiend's Vessel. This is a great call out, or a great piece, because if Archfiend's Vessel hits the graveyard, if we cast Ancestral, I want to keep calling it Ancestral Recall. Rally the Ancestors. If we cast Rally the Ancestors with an Archfiend's Vessel in our graveyard, regardless of what X is, we're getting a 5/5 Demon Flyer. Because the Archfiend's Vessel is the permanent that has the exile clause attached to it. So the moment it enters, gets exiled, creates the demon's free and clear. We don't need to lose that at the upkeep. It is just good to go. And that's pretty sweet. I'm a big fan. We also have Spirited Companion and Elvish Visionary. These are both 1/1 2-drops that just draw a card when they enter. We're gonna, if they're in our graveyard, when we rally the Ancestors, they draw us cards when they come back in. You'll love to see it. Prosperous Innkeeper, by the same token, ramps us, and if it's in our graveyard at the same time that we bring everything else out, we also get the added bonus of gaining a bunch of life too, which is just nice. It's a nice little bonus. But primarily, it's there for the ramp. So that's pretty delightful. Then, the creme de la creme, the reason that this deck functions at all, because you may be thinking, like, these are all fine, like 1 and 2 drops, but, like, is that really enough to win the game? It's like, oh, it will be. Just watch. Demon's Disciple and Plaguecrafter. Both of these accomplish very similar goals. Plaguecrafter just being unquestionably 100% better, but they both use something very similar that is key to the deck, which is why we have all 4 of each. Demon's Disciple says when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. That's just delicious. And then Plaguecrafter says whenever Plaguecrafter enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each player who can't discards a card. So obviously we like Plaguecrafter a little bit more because it hates on our opponent's hand if they don't have any critters or planeswalkers on board. But yeah, that's fine. It's all good. So if we cast Rally the Ancestors with these down, they enter the battlefield, we then sacrifice stuff. Well, the sacrifice stuff goes back to our graveyard. It doesn't get exiled off Rally the Ancestors, so we get an opportunity to cast it with Rally the Ancestors again later, or bring it back out with another Rally the Ancestors if we get multiple copies in the game. Awesome. Additionally, we have Mothra, the Supersonic Queen, also known as the Luminous Broodmoth. This is a card from Ikoria that is absolutely disgusting, and I love it. 3/4/5 for 4. Flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. So, we cast Rally the Ancestors, Mothra and a bunch of her friends enter the battlefield. We sacrifice the Demon's Disciple. Well, they'll say a Demon's Disciple comes along for the ride. We then force our opponent to sacrifice something. We sacrifice this Demon Disciple. Demon Disciple dies. It comes back to the battlefield. It's now a 3-power creature with flying. Guess what? It's entered the battlefield trigger. Go fires again. Forces our opponent to sacrifice another thing. And we have a 3/1 flyer we do not have to exile. That loop occurs for every time Demon's Disciple and Plaguecrafter is in the mix. If we can get 2 or 3 hits of these creatures, and in any combination, plus, you know, with the Luminous Broodmoth on board, the game is likely over. It's just... it is very capable of just eradicating our opponent's board. In the case of Plaguecrafter, once it's done eradicating our opponent's board, it's going to start going after their hand. Very, very powerful. And Rally the Ancestors can be done at instant speed. Like I mentioned earlier, I cannot stress that enough. There are so many games where my opponent looks like they have it in the bag. They attack into a Rally the Ancestors, sack their entire board. I block, you know, or they sack a bunch of stuff. I block whatever's left. And I have a bunch of flyers now that I get to crack back with the next turn. Freaking awesome. It's just delicious. And on top of that, if Siege Rhino's in the mix, it gets to soften him up and gain some life too. And we can sacrifice, say, the Plaguecrafter to itself with the Mothra down. It comes back. When it comes back again, we sacrifice Siege Rhino. Siege Rhino dies, is immediately brought back now with a flying counter, and we get its ETB trigger again, and we don't have to exile that. It gets out of hand, as you can see. So, super fun stuff. This is Abzan ETB death stuff with Rally the Ancestors and Siege Rhino. Unreasonably fun, super cool. Also, I do apologize, my green screen's giving me some trouble. I'm wrestling with the lighting, so I'm sorry if you're seeing little ghostly flickers over here. I do apologize for that, or if like parts of me fade out randomly. Anyway, I'll get that all titled in. But thank you so much for checking out the video. I appreciate it very, very much. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. It helps the channel out tremendously. And with that, let's get into some gameplay. All right. This hand actually looks pretty sick. We need a second white source for the Rally of the Ancestors later, and we need like a green, I mean, hopefully a white source, but a green source would be acceptable too, to get us to the Siege Rhino. But otherwise, I mean, we've got 3 lands, we've got the Plaguecrafter on 3, we got the Indatha Triome right out the gate. That's pretty, I mean, could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. Overgrown Tomb, I'll take it. I will take it. That's gonna give us at least access to our Siege Rhino on 4. Hopefully we're still alive by then. This Rakdos deck is one that I've seen quite a bit in Explorer. It's just really good right now. Like, Rakdos is just in a really strong spot. So, we'll see. All right. Supplier, we take those. Especially with the Rally in hand. All right. Some good stuff hitting the graveyard there. But that also gets us closer to a white mana source, because none of those were going to get us there. That's nice. We take those. And if they attack into it, we're going to block. If they don't, we're going to Plaguecraft and sack the Stitcher Supplier, forcing them to sacrifice one of their construct tokens that they're not really going to care about. Synthesizer. Okay. Ooh, Synthesizer into a Shambling Gas. That's not bad. Cracked Synthesizer, presumably digging for a land, and they found it. Dang it. All right. Actually, do we block here? Yeah, I'm gonna block the construct because that's something they can sack to the anvil later. There was one white source hitting the graveyard there. I wasn't super jazzed to see that. And actually, the Plaguecrafter here doesn't really do much for us, other than get another Plaguecrafter in our graveyard, which is not nothing, to be fair. It's actually just gonna ramp them up with that gas, though. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it. Hopefully we can get Mothra going before we drop it. So, untap white source off the top. Although, let's be honest, actually this next turn, just to give us a little padding, we're gonna jam Siege Rhino. Kind of regardless of what we draw. I still would like a white source, because that's gonna be really important for a lot of our action. Alright. Yeah, we're already down to 10. I'm not digging this. Way not digging this. Green source, you're fine, I guess. Not what I was looking for, though. Alright, here we go. Alright, and for the record, I am not streaming on Twitch at the moment. We just got to follow. So, you know, MTG Pack a Day, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it very, very much. Alright. Yeah, oh, my green screen isn't messing. Yeah, I'm still, like I said, in the deck tech, I'm still working on my green screen setup. It's like, I'm also filming this like as the sun is setting. That's probably a bad move, because the lighting is going to be shifting constantly. So That was probably a mistake, but so be it. Here we are. All right. As well attack with both. I'm going to block the construct. They're going to sack it to the anvil. Sure. All right. Well. Gonna crash in for a little bit here because we can. Next turn, we're 1 mana shy from being able to jam Mothra and the Plaguecrafter. So instead, I've always tempted to throw the Plaguecrafter and sack the Rhino, actually. Because we can get back with Rally the Ancestors later. That's probably hella greedy. Hella greedy. I'm going to rip the Plaguecrafter. Let's just sack it to itself. So we can get the multiple triggers off the Rally later. Actually, come to think of it, we have a Mothra in the graveyard. Yeah, actually, let's see. We have 2 Plaguecrafters, a Citrus Supplier, a Spirited Companion, and a Mothra in the yard. So next turn we can do our Rally nonsense. I love my Rally nonsense. Feels so good. All right. I don't know that it's going to be enough. Our opponent has been able to just absolutely pants us so far. So hopefully we'll be able to apply enough pressure with this, but we'll see. We'll most certainly see. Another meat hook. That's going to kill our Siege Rhino. I'm totally okay with this, believe it or not. I could not be more okay with this. Sick. Like, do I love all the pings? No, I don't. But it's okay. We're going to be up for some shenanigans and chicanery this turn that were made partially possible by that Meat Hook Massacre. You know what? I should wait. I should wait until their turn. So I'm going to. I'm going to be responsible. Another anvil. Frustration ensues. Not much I can do about that, though. Okay, the second anvil to itself. Get some stuff. Twice. Ping me for 1. Alright. Here we go. I don't know if I timed that correctly, but all good. Trigger. Siege Rhino domes. Feels good. I'm gonna sack this Plaguecrafter to this one. It's gonna come back with a flying counter on it. I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice our Siege Rhino so that it can also come back with a flying counter on it. Feels good, yo. Then I'm gonna sacrifice this Plaguecrafter to this one, so that it may once again come back with a flying counter on it. You guys get the theme. And then we're going to sack Stitch Supplier to help load our yard, and it will also come back with a flying counter on it. Our opponent scoops it up. We did the thing! We did the thing, guys! Check it out! Hey! The thing! It happened! I'm excited. Yeah, very cool. So game 1 in the books, we did exactly what we came here to do. Our opponent was discouraged pretty heavily by what we do. I mean, in this turn, we did establish 11 power of flyers on the board, and we had another Mothra and another Stitcher Supplier in our hand, because in addition to forcing our opponent to sacrifice a bunch of stuff, which frankly that deck is more than able to sacrifice a bunch of stuff, we also eradicated their hand. You know, we did actually force them to discard some stuff too, so it works. The deck works, everybody. All right, let's keep on moving. Let's see if we can do that again. All right. I see the Stitch Supplier and the Prosperous Innkeeper in the opening hand. The lack of a white mana source is mildly problematic, but the Prosperous Innkeeper can help with that by giving us the treasure token. We need to be very careful about how we spend that treasure token. That's going to be critical here. So I'm going to lead off with a swamp. Next turn, we're probably going to shock in the Overgrown Tomb for the Prosperous Innkeeper. And the reason I'm leading off with the swamp is so we can play the Stitcher Supplier. Ooh, or we have the Triome. I do like me some Triomes. Turn 1 Triomes make me happy. Much like sunshine on my shoulders. It makes me happy. All right, this turn... We have a couple choices. I'm going to try to stick the Innkeep. Let's see. Oppo doesn't counter it. That's always nice. They're playing a Yorion pile, so there's always a possibility that that could happen. All right. I'm not mad at a green source here. I'm really not. Let's go ahead and throw Supplier. We had an opportunity there to try to just rip Mothra. However, in trying to rip Mothra, we'd probably be walking right into a counterspell. Like, there would be a Make Disappear or Saw It Coming. Or even a Jawar Disruption with our name all over it. Alright, here comes Stitcher Suppliers. We're supplying the Stitchers. And Mothra and Plaguecrafter are now in our bin, giving our opponent a really clear idea of what we're up to. That's kind of the one downside of self-milling, is if your opponent's paying attention, they get a lot of information on what you're up to. There goes Siege Rhino as well now in the mix, so opponent, this is what you're up against. This is the plan. There it is for your approval. Might as well crash in with the Innkeep. One of the nice things about this deck is that even if our creatures die early to things like Meathook Massacre or Doomscar or Supreme Verdict, which this person is no doubt running, they'd all just come back, so I don't care. It's pretty great. They're probably in a situation where they're debating on whether or not to rip a Supreme Verdict here. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to crash in with the team. No Settle the Wreckage or anything of that nature. That's nice. Go ahead and play out the Godless Shrine. And you know what? I'm going to try to stick a Plaguecrafter. Because we can stack a Stitcher Supplier, mill some more, and force them to discard a card. Okay. And you know, the thought being with Plaguecrafter there, no matter what happens, we get one card out of their hand. That was my thought. Because it either forces them to discard it or they counter. Okay, we get a Triome. So, alright. Not amazing, but that's fine. Let's see, we got another Siege Rhino. Let's go. Alright, we got some Rhinos. And there's Supreme Verdict, sure. But now we can stick Mothra. Am I jazzed about the Supreme Verdict coming down right then? Not particularly. Unless we drew a had we drawn Rally the Ancestors, totally different story. Could we rip a Rally? If we could have ripped a Rally the Ancestors that last turn, all bets are off. We would have been in great shape. But my thought with the Plaguecrafters, it also has 3 power to the board. That's very meaningful. Now, if they have a way to remove Mothra, which I'm sure they do, you know, this is a 3/4 beat stick at the moment, which is not nothing, but it's not much either. I'll be surprised if they can't hit that with a, you know, March of Other Really Light or some kind of bounce spell. Because they don't know our hand is... They don't know we have nothing in our hand. How could they? We don't have nothing... We don't have anything in our hand, though. Ooh, Elvish Visionary. Sweet. I like drawing cards. And it sticks. Oh, I love it when my stuff sticks. Sounded weird, but, well, here we are. I stand by it. Cool. Rally the Ancestors. You love to see it. That is the key piece, especially with 2 Siege Rhinos in our graveyard. Wandering up. Okay. We have another one. We have another Mothra in our yard already that we milled super early, so we're going to be just fine. Unfortunately, we don't have the mana to cast Rally the Ancestors here. I mean, we could cast Rally the Ancestors. Actually, we could cast a Rally for 3 here. How many Plaguecrafters do we have? 3. We have 3 Plaguecrafters. Never mind, we're doing this. Before this Mothra leaves the field. Here we go. Our time has come. Let's go. All the triggers. We're sack a Plaguecrafter. Sack another Plaguecrafter. Force the opponent to discard. Got another board wipe there, Chief? Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. We're gonna strip your entire hand. Oh, I'm a bad man, everybody. I'm a bad man. Oh, I got rid of a torrential gear hulk. Let's go. Unfortunately, we don't have the Siege Rhino in the mix here because we only paid 3 for it. But I still think we made the right call. I think this was the correct timing to do that. One of the non-flyers. Let's grab the other Innkeep. I like having all the mana. So yes, you're gonna exile my Mothra, but
This is what you get for
Mothra did her job. Go ahead and throw another Supplier. We're gaining even more life. Feeling good. Feeling real good. Got him! Yes! Oh my goodness, Plaguecrafter, everybody. Don't be sleeping on Plaguecrafter plus Mothra. I love it. I love this deck. I love this deck. I love this deck. Just saying. Also, the ladder just reset today, so that's what's going on with why we're in gold. I'm having so much fun with this. It's not even funny. So yeah, let's see if we can do that again. All right, I don't think we can keep this. The lack of a white mana source in the opening hand is definitely problematic, and I have learned time and time again to not keep 2 landers in this game. It rarely works. This looks significantly better. I'm gonna keep 6. Unfortunately, we're gonna let one of these Mothras go, but I think we'll be all right. Turn 1 Triome. Never mad about a turn 1 Triome. And we're gonna have a turn 2 Shockland because we can. Let's go Godless Shrine here because the double white is gonna be relevant later. If we don't have to shock stuff in, I'd rather not shock stuff in. Alright, we're going up against another Yorion player. Interesting. Let's try to stick a Plaguecrafter. Just monkey with their hand a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little teasing the hand a little bit. Get rid of a portable hole, sure. Okay, so that's not really particularly relevant. Glacial Fortress, fine. Spirit Companion sticks. Very nice. I like that. A little bit more stuff sticks. And we have another Plaguecrafter. Excellent. All right. Feeling pretty good. And you may be wondering, okay, dude, it's fine and all, but you have Mothra. Why aren't you playing Mothra? They have 4 lands up and all the cards in the world. I'm guessing that they're sitting on counter spells. And Mothra is the kind of thing you counter. All right. Create a little Vigilant Homie, that's fine. I'm gonna kill that little Vigilant Homie immediately. Unless you want to sacrifice your Planeswalker, which you're welcome to do, opponent. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and sack the Innkeeper here. Because now we have 3 power on the board. That's something our opponent's gonna have to dance with. Fairly easily, of course, but still. Alright. Let's do this again, shall we? Sacking the one that has Summoning Sickness so we can attack with the other Demon's Disciple. They choose to sack the Wanderer. Okay, sure. That works. Well, then I might just chill. The Deluge. Alright. I'm thinking next turn might be time for us to try to stick Mothra. We're probably going to see a Teferi Hero of Dominaria here before long. Actually, I'll be kind of surprised if we don't. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, there he is. Sup, Tef? How you doing?
If you show remorse, I'll show mercy.
Choose not to attack into my Demon's Disciple. They have learned. Coming at you. Just like we wrote it up. There's no way he has another Demon's Disciple. Absolutely no way there's another Demon's Disciple. It's impossible, right? What are the chances of there being 3 Demon's Disciples in the top 13 cards? Honestly. Yeah. Oh, they flash in the Brazen Borrower so they can sack the Borrower instead of Tef. Fair enough, fair enough. Creative solution. Still down a card, so... It's fine. Not ideal, but it's fine. We're still sitting on 2 Plaguecrafters though, so we can keep doing. We can do this all day. I'll throw the Visionary first, and I hope we hit a land here. That would be very helpful. Damn it, that's not a land at all. All right, that's gonna set us back a ways. That was a risky play there, but is what it is. Yeah, they are like getting dangerously close to ulting that Tef, and when Tef ults, it's over. He doesn't say you win the game, but let's be honest, he says you win the game. And they're just doing all the card draw shenanigans. So all they need is one counter spell amongst the 9 cards they have in their hand, and we're kind of sunk. So we're kind of sunk here. This is a situation where the control player has established probably way too much card advantage for us to overcome. But we're going to try, doggone it. We are going to try. World Tree's fine. I'm going to try to stick to... Well, you know what? First things first, I'm going to attack Tef, threaten that loyalty count a little bit. That way if they have an answer, yeah! Get them to spend some mana. Get them to spend some mana now. Oh, that puts a body on board. Damn it. So now if I play Crafter, they can just sack one of the... They can just sack the token. So we're going to try to stick Mothra. We have 2 mana up. There might be a make disappear in our near future here. Or there might be a Brazen Borrower in our near future here. Yep. Sure enough. Alright, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, this is all over with the crying. They set up too much good value. And now they have a hard cast Shark Typhoon in the mix. They're gonna have access to 5 mana on our turn with 5 cards in hand. Plus 2 Foretold. And Brazen Borrower, just chilling there being a Brazen Borrower. Gonna try to Plaguecraft. It's a creature Planeswalker. It's not permanent. Try this again. This is kind of our last shot. This needs to stick. But they can flash in the Brazen Borrower again if need be. So this isn't going to kill Tef, unfortunately. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do here. Yeah, we need to Reality of the Ancestors now. Reality of the Ancestors with the graveyard we've got going would be disgusting. But Tef's just ulted. Whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent opponent controls, it's over. And they have another Teferi, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it here. There's no way we come back from this. Well, let's draw one more card. If it's a Reality of the Ancestors, I'm just going to rip it and see what happens. It's probably going to get countered, but let's give it a shot, right? So far, they actually haven't been doing much in the way of counters. But yeah, I mean, this is just Azorius control being Azorius control. It's doing the job nicely. Yeah, no. All right, fun thought. All right, let's get one more game in. Let's see if we can pop off one more time. All right. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Ham, for these videos, don't you usually only do 3 games? Yes, I normally do. But I didn't want to end on the last note, so I decided we're going to do at least one more. I was just talking earlier about how you should never keep 2-land hands, and I'm going to not take my own advice. I'm going to keep this 2-land hand. Usually, mulling these is a good idea. Usually. But we just drew a forest, so we're good. Here's my thought. Prosperous Innkeeper gives us a treasure. That gives us access to work with our 3 drops if need be, and the Spirit of Companion draws us a card, so the chance of us drawing into another, drawing into a spell is not bad. Plus, the Indatha Triome gives us perfect mana right out the gate, so that's nice. I'm going to go Prosperous Innkeeper. We're going to see if we can stick a turn 3 Siege Rhino, because I have a feeling that would do a lot. And we're going to make this Merfolk, which is a kind of a cool... Cool tribe. Tribe capable of rocking counter backup. So that's something that we definitely need to be aware of. But yeah, here comes the turn 4 Siege Rhino. They only have 1 mana up, so the chance of that getting countered very low. In total, we're going to gain 4 life this turn and dome them for 3 and put a 4/5 trampler on the board. All but 3 lands chilling here. Seems good. Seems really good. And they're gonna Glass Pool Mimic. Ah, yeah, it has to be creatures you control. And Siege Rhino still prevents them from attacking. If we draw into an untapped land here, we have the ability to drop another Siege Rhino. We did not. That's okay. Let's go Spirited Champagne. It's not right. It's not a champion. It's a companion. But whatever. My silly pronunciations. I stand by them. All right, we can't really afford to attack here. Not because of multi-block situations. I'm not that worried about that. It's just they have a lot of creatures wide, and I want to... I don't know. I'm nervous about that. That makes me a little uncomfortable. Mistcaller. Non-target creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. That actually could be a phenomenal problem for us. That makes Rally the Ancestors effectively useless. Oh, and they're just gonna Merfolk Trickster, tap our Rhino. I don't appreciate this. I don't appreciate this at all. This is actually a phenomenal counter to what we're doing. I'm genuinely impressed. I really don't like that Mistcaller. Really don't like that Mistcaller. All right, well, one Siege Rhino was definitely a problem for them to deal with, so let's give them 2. Boom. Let's race. It's probably not smart. Sitting back is probably the correct answer, but I'm gonna attack in, and we do have an opportunity to kill the Mistcaller. That is critical for us. Getting the Mistcaller off the board is very important because that ability had the opportunity to completely shut down Rally the Ancestors. As long as the Mistcaller was on the field, Rally the Ancestors was off the board. That's a huge problem. Gonna block the one we can kill. Okay, and we have a situation here. We have a situation, everybody. Archfiend's Vessel coming out. Demon's Disciple also coming out. We're going to sack the Archfiend's Vessel because if we rally the Ancestors even as early as next turn, that's going to give us a 5/5 flyer that they need to contend with. I like that idea. I like that idea significantly, as a matter of fact. Man, all of these Mist Binders are really frustrating. All right. Spirited Companion coming out. It does stick. That is good. There was a pause there. That makes me a little nervous, but what can you do? Well, I can cry about it. And then I'm going to try to throw another Spirited Companion. That one also sticks. Excellent. It looks like they were considering countering it, and they didn't. So, Godless Shrine enters. We now have the ability to cast Rally the Ancestors for 3 if we get to untap next turn. Merfolk Trickster Flash in. That's going to tap down one of our blockers. I think that's lethal. Yep. Dang, yo. Oh. And they have a Coco just to flex. All good. All right. This is a fun game all the same. Yeah, good stuff. You guys got to see what the deck does. You know the idea. I'm proud of this creation here, even though it didn't pan out in these last 2 games, but that's okay. And I don't know if this deck has what it takes to be competitive on the ladder, especially at the higher ranks, but I gotta say, it is an absolute joy to pilot, because when it pops, oh boy, it is the best. Like, it just feels great. So thank you so much for checking out the video. I appreciate it as Merfolk bash my face in. So thank you so much for checking out the video. It means the world. If you have not already clicked the subscribe button, that actually goes so far in helping any small YouTube creator help grow their brand. So it really would be phenomenal. And we're approaching the 1,000 subscriber mark. We actually just passed the 800 mark to the day I'm recording this, which is very exciting. It was delightful to wake up and see that number. And at 1,000, I'll actually be able to apply to the YouTube Partner Program, which means that I can actually get monetized. So all those ads you have to like skip through before these videos, I would actually get a little cut of that. So it would help me out tremendously. So thank you so much. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, again, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one.